So, how do I solve an inequality? I'm glad you asked. It's your girl Tiffany with Tiffany's Tutoring and Consulting LLC, guiding you through these education streets. Let's go ahead and get right to it. You're going to use the same principles that you would to solve an equation with an inequality with just a little twist kind of at the end. Well, it's not really a twist, but our solution set is going to be different. So, the first thing I want to look at is what is the variable that I'm trying to isolate? If I look here, my variable is R. So, I want to isolate R. So that means I need to move some things so that R can be alone, but I can't just willy-nilly move it. I need to use inverse operations. So I want to move the 5 first. Why the 5? I'm glad you asked. I move the 5 first because it's furthest away from the variable, but still on the same side. It doesn't make sense to move to 26 because if I move to 26, that's like if I want to be isolated, it's already out the door. So you want to move the 5 first, and I'm going to subtract 5. Now you might be like, whoa, I'm subtracting 5. Yes, I am. 5 is positive here. It is not negative. The subtraction or what will be the negative value would go to the 3R, not to the 5. If I added 5 to both sides, then that would give me 10. So make sure when you're canceling, you're not just canceling for show, you're actually doing the operation to make sure it works out. All right, we're going to drop down that subtract 3R. That's a big mistake students make, is not bringing down that negative, okay? And I can say subtraction because remember, subtraction is the same thing as adding a negative. Okay, 26 minus 5, 21. Negative 3R. Now I got to get rid of the negative 3. Negative 3 is a number and it's kind of stuck to this variable. This is called a coefficient. So a coefficient means that I have a number that is multiplied by a variable. All right, so that's multiplication. Multiplication is an operation that doesn't require a symbol. So the inverse of multiplication is division. So I'm going to divide negative 3 by both sides. Okay, negative 3 divided by negative 3 is 1. I don't need to write 1 because 1 times anything is itself. All right, so that's going to be negative 7. But look at what happens with the inequalities. With the inequality, I'm going to have to flip the inequality. Whenever I divide or multiply by a negative number, I have to flip my inequality. Okay, I flip my inequality, then I'm done. I can go to my handy dandy number line, boom. Now, hold up. What about this open or closed circle? If I have less than or greater than, it's an open circle. If I have less than or equal to, greater than or equal to, that is a closed circle. So as you can see here, this is an open circle. So I'm going to put it, put 7, -7 here. It doesn't matter where I put it. I'm going to have an open circle, and then it says R is less than -7. So here's where the difference comes in from an equation. For an equation, it would just be R equal -7. For this inequality, it's infinite numbers because it's any number that is less than -7. If I'm on my number line, I'm looking for numbers that are less than, I'm going to shade on to the left. Okay, so this is my answer. I hope that you were able to understand this. If you have any questions or comments, leave them below. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace.